What is the future of India alliance? That is a question that keeps coming up from time to time. Whenever an election is coming up, whenever an election ends, and the interim phase. When this alliance ensured BJP did not get a majority of its own in the 2024 Lok Sabha elections, it was said the opposition is alive. Then this alliance lost some state elections and the obituaries began. But the composition, aim, objectives and the dynamics of this alliance is such that it is hard to not assess this anti-BJP bloc. The latest to make a candid assessment is former Union Minister P. Chidambaram. He says he is not sure whether the India alliance is intact. Chidambaram also called the BJP's election machinery a formidable one. The BJP, of course, has wasted little time to pounce on this statement and called out Rahul Gandhi. But let's try and look at where things are with regards to the India alliance. Hello and welcome, I'm Shubham Chauhan. Let's get started. The veteran Congress leader P. Chidambaram was at an event in Delhi. It was at the launch of the book Contesting Democratic Deficit, written by Congress leader Salman Khurshid with Mrityunjay Singh Yadav. There, Chidambaram raised concerns about the India bloc. He said he was not sure if the opposition alliance was still intact and its future doesn't look bright. But the former finance and home minister hoped that the alliance can still be put together in order to take on what he called a formidable election machinery of the Bharatiya Janata Party.
The future is not so bright as Mr. Mrityunjay Singh Yadav said. He seemed to feel that the India alliance is still intact. I'm not sure. It's only Salman can answer because he was part of the negotiating team for the India alliance. If the India alliance is totally intact, I'm very, very happy. But it is, it shows it's at the seams, it's frayed. It can be put together. There's still time. There are still events which will unfold, which can be. But the underlying premise of Mr. Yadav's argument is correct. If you want to take on the formidable BJP machinery, in my experience and my reading of history, there has been no political party which is so formidably organized as the BJP.
Chidambaram also goes on to say that we as in India will be beyond repair if BJP wins 2029 elections, and hence that election is critical to ensure a return to full-fledged democracy. But Chidambaram was very candid in his assessment that the Modi-Shah BJP is a different beast. And to take on that formidable election machinery, an equally strong India alliance doesn't seem to exist at the moment. In fact, Congress's Salman Khurshid also concurred with Chidambaram's views. He said that issues surrounding the India bloc must be addressed and the opposition must look at the bigger picture if they want to improve their situation. News agency PTI quoted him saying, "We need to address the concerns. The takeaway from Chidambaram's views is that we have to be prepared for a very major battle in 2029. We have to deal with the whole idea of how to get the alliance partners together. What we have learned is that we must think on a larger scale. If we only think how many seats we will contest and what will happen once the results are out, we will miss out on the major thing we set out to do, which is to effect a massive reversal of electoral trends in the country." Now let's divide this into two parts. First, does the India alliance exist? On paper, perhaps it does. 22 odd opposition parties are still part of this formation, which came into being in 2023. But in reality, does it stand together as one? One can't entirely be sure. And that is because how its constituents, how the India allies react in different situations. While the ultimate goal remains to beat the BJP, the unity in the lead up to this keeps taking a hit. Sometimes it is the Trinamool Congress in West Bengal, sometimes it is Arvind Kejriwal's Aam Aadmi Party. We have seen and discussed all these aspects multiple times. But here's another example to put things in perspective. Sharad Pawar, president of the Nationalist Congress Party Sharad Pawar faction, arguably the senior most leader in this entire alliance, the one leader who has seen it all in Indian politics. And Sharad Pawar has contacts across party lines and is also well respected across the board, including the Prime Minister himself. Now, Pawar hasn't shied away from ditching the opposition line, which largely the Congress sets. On Operation Sindoor and the whole conflict with Pakistan, for instance, Congress's Rahul Gandhi, Mallikarjun Kharge and several leaders have been calling for a special session of Parliament. But Pawar thinks otherwise. A former defence minister in P.V. Narasimha Rao's cabinet Sharad Pawar said a parliament session may not be the right forum to discuss issues of national security. He thinks an all-party meeting is a better option. In 2023, when Rahul Gandhi and the Congress were vociferously calling for a JPC, a Joint Parliamentary Committee probe against Gautam Adani on the Hindenburg saga, Pawar disagreed. In fact, senior journalist Neerja Chaudhary interviewed Pawar a couple of days back, which was published, and this interview was published in the Indian Express. When asked about the India Bloc, Sharad Pawar shared Chidambaram's views in a way. Here's what he said on this opposition alliance. Today the situation is not conducive for India, but the situation can be changed. India is not active today, so we have to reorganize, rebuild our party, that is the NCP-SP, induct younger people into it and work. There's also one other aspect about the India Bloc that is leading to questions on its entire existence. How much of this alliance is actually working outside of elections? The last 8 elections was in Maharashtra, Haryana and Jharkhand in 2024, November 2024. Congress gave Haryana on a platter to the Bharatiya Janata Party. Maharashtra, the Mahavikas Aghadi, which is the Maharashtra version of the India Bloc, lost. And Jharkhand, one of the India Bloc members, that is Hemant Soren's JMM, won. Now, since November 2024, how many times has the India Alliance come in a huddle, discussed these results and the way forward? We couldn't see any of the stories pointing to that. Yes, in the run-up to the national election, however, we did see multiple rounds of meetings taking place in different parts of the country a few months prior to the Lok Sabha election. But nothing solid came after that. So is this only a national election alliance that will only get activated a few months before voting? If so, then is this a viable model? Those are questions that have to be answered, because a duality, that is allies in national election and rivals in the state, would only confuse the voter and eventually benefit the BJP in the narrative war. The fact that we don't have a united, confirmed answer to all these difficult questions perhaps justifies the skepticism around the existence of the India Alliance itself. Now let's come to the second part. Both Chidambaram and Khurshid refer to the 2029 Lok Sabha elections and how that is crucial. Before that, we also have some state elections coming up. Bihar will vote later this year. West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, Kerala will vote in 2026. Then there's the big prize of Uttar Pradesh in 2027. And Karnataka, Telangana, Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh will vote in 2028. Now these state elections will give us a sense or a clear idea as to where this bloc stands in terms of coordination. Say in Bihar, how effectively can a down-and-out Congress work with Lalu's RJD? In Bengal, Mamata doesn't seem to be in the mood to take the Congress along. Now the way this muddled picture of the opposition will be cleared is seat sharing. That is, in the lead up to voting, which party will fight how many seats? Salman Khurshid pointed out that this spending time on seat sharing will lead to missing out on the larger picture, which is, in his words, affect a massive reversal of electoral trends. The fact is, electoral trends can't be reversed without seat sharing. That is the basis of reversing the electoral trends. Yes, the strength of all allies also need to come together, work in synergy to take on the BJP. But eventually, the electoral trends will only be reversed when you have seats, and seat sharing is the basis for that, be it a state election or the 2029 Lok Sabha election for that matter. Like it or not, BJP's election machinery is formidable, as Chidambaram puts it. The Modi-Shah BJP is ruthless. They treat every election like their last election. All leaders, resources are poured and nothing is left to chance. The India Alliance at the moment is clearly falling short on that front after a promising performance in the 2024 Lok Sabha. So yes, P. Chidambaram is right. His comments, more than a compliment for the BJP, is a reality check for the Congress and the India Bloc. Get your act together. Put up an equally formidable front with the same intensity as the BJP, if not more. Put up a solid fight with all your might. Now the question is whether the India Alliance wants to do it as a collective unit or only look at their respective parties. If it is the latter, then the prospects of the India Bloc doesn't look too bright indeed. That's all we have for this report. Thanks for watching.